former police officer Kim Potter has been found guilty for fatally shooting Daunte Wright. In fact, I want to give you the video here of the judge handing down that verdict. Take a look.
In the matter of State of Minnesota versus Kimberly Potter, court file number 27 CR 21 7490, we, the jury, on the charge of manslaughter in the first degree while committing a misdemeanor on or about April 11, 2021, in Hennepin County, State of Minnesota, find the defendant guilty. And the verdict was agreed to at the hour of 11:40 a.m. and signed by the jury person on 12/23/21. The verdict on count 2 is we, the jury, on the charge of manslaughter in the second degree, culpable negligence on or about April 11, 2021, in Hennepin County, State of Minnesota, find the defendant guilty. And that verdict was agreed to at 10:30 a.m. on 12/21/21. Members of the jury, is this your true and correct verdict? So say you one, and so say you all.
Yes.
All right, so obviously guilty to both charges. She will then move forward towards sentencing. So now the maximum penalty for first-degree manslaughter predicated on reckless use and handling of a firearm is about 15 years in prison and or a $30,000 fine. And of course, there is the other charge as well, which for some reason I do not have the sentencing guideline for that one. However, since Potter has no criminal history, Minnesota sentencing guidelines recommend a sentence of roughly between 6 to 8.5 years in prison. So now prosecutors plan to seek a more severe sentence in that case than the maximum. But it appears that so far right now, we have a little justice in this case. So now going back to some of the details in this case. Now, if you can remember, she had claimed that she was trying to protect a fellow officer from being dragged behind Daunte Wright's car during a traffic stop. So now she did so, but she also claimed that while she was reaching for her taser, she had accidentally grabbed her gun. In fact, she says that she didn't want to hurt anybody, which is interesting to say because a taser would definitely hurt someone. But then, realized that after she had grabbed her taser and yelled, taser, 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 she had actually mistakenly grabbed her gun and shot Daunte Wright to death. And so now prosecutors had said that she had recklessly handled her firearm and caused Wright's death through culpable negligence or a conscious and disregard of substantial and unjustifiable risk. Defense attorneys said that she mistook her firearm for the taser but was justified in using deadly force to prevent that fellow officer from being injured. Now, of course, during the trial, a police sergeant at the scene who was actually trying to restrain Daunte Wright and get handcuffs on him, he said that he was holding Wright's arm with both hands. This is Michael Johnson, a supervisor of Potter's at the time, said he was holding Wright's right arm to prepare him for handcuffs, but then once he had heard her yell, taser, 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 had dropped Wright's arm. So he didn't have a hold of anything during that confrontation, meaning therefore he wasn't going to get dragged along with the car. By the way, the car wasn't even moving until Potter had fired the shots. And so there's that. Now, department policy also dictated that tasers shouldn't be used on people operating vehicles to avoid incapacitating the person and causing an accident. And so she shouldn't have been using the taser in the first place. So again, the car was not moving. She said she reached for the taser. she actually ended up getting the gun and shooting Dante, which then afterwards, after he had been shot, that's when the car moved and then crashed into another car. So now if she hadn't done that and had allowed the other officer to get handcuffs on Daunte Wright would still be alive and Kim Potter would still be a police officer. So now the defense again claimed that, oh, no, she was only doing so to prevent him from being dragged, but it wasn't moving. There was no evidence that he would have been harmed at all. And so the defense kind of destroyed right there. Her justification for deadly force, i.e. the car dragging away the officer, never happened at all. And as for her mistake, prosecutors also noted that Potter was a veteran officer who had received extensive Taser training that included multiple warnings about not confusing it with a handgun. So she was well trained and she had absolutely, no justification, and even went against department policy by attempting to deploy said Taser. So now the jury had deliberated for something around 27 hours over the course of 4 days over this. They looked at the evidence and they saw there's just no way. This is definitely first degree manslaughter. And they would be right. And so at the end of the day, this decision is exactly, what we were looking for. Some sort of justice here for Daunte Wright. Again, he was stopped for an expired plate. I believe it was expired tags, as well as something hanging in his rear. I believe it was an air freshener that was hanging in his rear view mirror. And so, again, the expired tag, sure, but the rear view mirror thing, ridiculous. Sounds to me like they were trying to fill a quota, made some mistakes, and as a result of that, Daunte Wright's dead. So, what an unfortunate entire incident, which once again proves that we do need to change policing in this country. Even though there is a little bit of justice here, none of that brings back Daunte Wright. And for whatever he did, understand that he did not deserve to die that day. He did not deserve to die. He did not deserve to get shot in the back or anything like that. And that's what's important here. Holding police accountable for shooting and murdering somebody. Well, I'm sorry, doing manslaughter on somebody, unnecessarily. And so again, I'm glad that we have a little bit of justice here. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.